Officer Ta stood before the Galactic Council, back straight and voice clear. The large circular room went quiet as his fingers moved through the air, controlling the blue hologram that showed strange ships in the darkness of space. Council members, we have found unusual vessels near our space in Sector 7, he said, keeping his voice steady though his heart beat fast. The council leader, a woman named June, tilted her head forward. The jewels on her elaborate head covering clinked softly. Is it yet another simple species trying to enter our territory? She asked, sounding bored. Yes, leader, Tay replied with a small bow. They call themselves humans. Their ships and weapons are very basic compared to ours, but they are learning new technology faster than any species we have seen before. Admiral Sung, sitting to the right of June, made a loud sound of disbelief. His chest, covered in medals and honors, puffed out as he spoke. I have seen the reports. Their ships are nothing but metal boxes with engines attached. Even our smallest ship could destroy many of their vessels with ease. Ta nodded, but noticed Ambassador Mina shifting in her seat. Her face showed worry that none of the others seemed to share. If I may speak, Mina said, rising from her chair. Her simple blue robes stood out among the fancy clothes of the other council members. I believe we should be careful. I have listened to their messages to each other. These humans come from a world with strong gravity and wild weather. Their entire history is filled with fighting and finding ways to survive. They might be more dangerous than they appear. Laughter filled the chamber. Some council members covered their mouths politely, while others bent forward with loud laughs. Oh, Mina, Council Leader June said with a wave of her hand, you always see danger where there is none. We have met many species like these humans before. They will learn to respect our power very quickly. Tai watched as the council voted. Almost everyone agreed. They would send ships to block the humans from moving further into space. They would show their advanced weapons and expect the humans to bow to their power right away. As the meeting ended and members left the chamber, Tai gathered his data screens. He felt someone approach and turned to see Ambassador Mina. They refused to listen, she whispered, looking around to make sure no one could hear them. Ta frowned. What can I do about it? I am just an information officer. Mina's eyes were serious. Keep records of everything that happens with these humans. Every message, every scan, every battle report. I fear we will need proof later. Proof of what? Tai asked. Proof that I warned them, she said. Humans are not like the other species we have met. I can feel it. That night, Ta sat in his small office reviewing more data about the humans. Their ships were indeed simple, made of metals that the Council had stopped using centuries ago. Their weapons used basic explosives and chemical reactions rather than energy beams or gravity manipulation. But something about their flight patterns was strange. Council species followed logical, efficient paths through space. Human ships sometimes took longer routes, changed direction without reason, or traveled in ways that used more fuel than necessary. Tai created a special secure folder and began copying all human-related data into it. He wasn't sure Ambassador Mina was right to be worried, but it didn't hurt to be careful. 3 days later, Admiral Sung led a fleet of 10 ships to Sector 7. The mission was set. Find the human vessels, surround them, fire warning shots if needed, and force them back to their home system. Tai watched from the Council's central monitoring station as the first images came back. Human ships were boxy and functional, with large engines and visible weapon ports. They had none of the sleek beauty of Council vessels. This will be over quickly, said Officer Han, who worked at the station next to Ta. Those humans won't stand a chance against our ships. Ta nodded but said nothing. On his screen, he could see that the human ships were not running away as expected. Instead, they were spreading out in a pattern he'd never seen before. What are they doing? Han asked, noticing the same thing. That formation makes no sense. The Admiral's voice came through the speakers. Human vessels, this is Admiral Sung of the Galactic Council. You are trespassing in Council space. Return to your system immediately or face consequences. There was a long pause before a human voice replied. This is Captain Kim of Earthship Discovery. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. We did not know this space belonged to anyone. We wish to talk. There is nothing to discuss, Admiral Sung replied. Return to your territory now. The human ship still did not turn around. Admiral Sung ordered a warning shot. A beam of energy flashed from his lead ship, hitting near one of the human vessels. What happened next shocked everyone in the monitoring room. The human ships suddenly moved in different directions, but in a way that seemed planned. They took positions that made it hard for council ships to target them all at once. What kind of tactic is this? Han whispered. Before Tai could answer, the human ships fired their weapons. They were simple projectiles, but they moved faster than expected. Two hit a council ship, causing damage to its outer hull. Admiral Sung's voice was angry now. All ships target and disable the human vessels. The council ships fired their advanced weapons, but the humans were moving strangely, changing speed and direction in ways that made no sense but somehow worked. They should have been easy targets, but they were hard to hit. Then the humans did something no council species would ever do. They aimed their ships directly at the council vessels, as if they were going to crash into them. At the last moment, they fired all weapons and changed course. Tai watched in disbelief as 3 council ships reported serious damage. The human tactics were reckless, dangerous, and surprisingly effective. This isn't possible, Han said, his face pale. They're just primitives. In his mind, Tai heard Ambassador Mina's words. Their entire history is filled with fighting and finding ways to survive. He quietly added the battle data to his secure folder. Mina was right. They might need this information later, sooner than anyone had expected. Captain Song sat in her command chair on the bridge of the UES Horizon. The ship was Earth's newest explorer vessel, built to travel the stars and find new worlds. Song was proud to be its captain. She was calm and focused, even when 5 strange ships suddenly appeared on the ship's screens. Ships detected, Captain, said Officer Park, looking up from his station. They came out of nowhere. Nothing like I've ever seen before. Song leaned forward. Are they natural objects or vessels? Definitely ships, Captain. Moving in a pattern that has to be controlled by thinking beings. The bridge crew watched the screens as the alien ships moved with perfect precision. Their hulls were smooth and shone like polished metal in the light of the nearby star. First Officer Park, open all communication channels, Song ordered. Let's say hello to our new neighbors. Park's fingers moved quickly across his control panel, broadcasting a greeting on all known frequencies, Captain. He waited, then shook his head. No response. Keep trotting, Song said. We didn't travel 5 light years to start a fight. The 5 alien ships moved into a V-shaped formation, facing the 3 human vessels. Officer Lee at the sensor station suddenly looked up with alarm. Captain, energy readings from the alien ships are increasing. They might be. Captain, Park interrupted with urgency in his voice. They're powering weapons. Before Song could respond, bright beams of energy shot out from the lead alien ship. The beams hit the UES Dauntless, the smallest of the 3 human ships. The Dauntless spun from the force of the hit, with one side now blackened and smoking. Get me the Dauntless, Song ordered, her voice steady despite the attack. Park worked his controls. Captain Wu of the Dauntless reports 5 people with minor injuries. Hull damage on the left side. Ship functions at 70% capacity. Song's face hardened. She had tried to be peaceful, but these aliens had chosen violence without even trying to talk first. So they're not interested in friendly conversation, she said. Very well. Tactical Officer Kim, implement Formation Hydra. Kim nodded and sent the commands to the other ships. All 3 human vessels, which had been in a simple line formation, suddenly broke apart and moved in different directions. On his command ship, Admiral Sung of the Galactic Council watched with growing confusion. His tactical display showed the human ships moving in ways that made no sense. "What are they doing?" he asked his first officer, Jin. "Their movements follow no known battle pattern." Jin studied the screens. "They appear to be using random movements." "Admiral, our targeting computers are having trouble predicting their paths." Sung frowned. "Impossible. These are primitive vessels. They can't possibly outmaneuver us." But the human ships continued to move in unexpected ways. The UES horizon suddenly dropped below the plane of battle, then accelerated upward behind the alien formation. The other human ships, Dauntless and Venture, executed similar unusual maneuvers. "Admiral," Jin called out in alarm. "The human ship called Horizon is now behind our left flank." "Impossible," Sung muttered, staring at his screen. "How did they?" Before he could finish his thought, the Horizon fired its weapons. But instead of aiming for the alien ship's main body, it targeted specific points: the weapon ports and engine sections. "They're disabling our systems, not destroying our ships," Jin reported with surprise. "The humans could have hit our main power core, but they deliberately avoided it." Across the small battlefield, the same scene played out. The human ships fired with surprising accuracy, hitting weapons and engines on the alien vessels, but avoiding critical systems that would destroy the ships entirely. Admiral Sung's flagship rocked as its main engines went offline. "Return fire," he commanded. "We can't," Jin responded. "Weapons are disabled. 3 of our 5 ships are completely unable to fight or move." Captain Song watched from the horizon as the alien fleet floated helplessly in space. "Cease fire," she ordered. "All ships report." "Dauntless reports minimal additional damage," Park said. "Venture has a hull breach on Deck 3, sealed and under control." Song nodded. "Send a message to the alien vessels. We did not want this fight. We are still open to peaceful talks when you're ready." Officer Kim spoke up from his station. "Captain, should we destroy their ships?" "They attacked us first." Song shook her head firmly. "No, that's not why we came to space. Besides, look at those ships. The technology is far beyond ours. We can learn from them." She stood up and straightened her uniform. "Collect any debris from the battle. Download any data you can from their damaged systems. Then set course back to Earth space." As the human ships turned to leave, Park had one more message. "Captain, I'm picking up internal communications from the alien fleet. Their systems are damaged, but they're calling for help." Song thought for a moment. "Send them one more message. Unknown vessels, we regret the hostilities. We remain open to peaceful contact when you're ready. Until then, we'll be studying the technology you left behind. Thanks for that." The 3 human ships moved away, leaving the damaged alien vessels drifting in space. On his crippled flagship, Admiral Sung received the human message. His face turned dark with anger and shame. "They're thanking us," he said in disbelief, "as if we gave them our technology willingly." First Officer Jin looked troubled. "Admiral, these humans, they don't fight like any species we've encountered. They use tactics no civilized race would consider." "What do you mean?" Sung demanded. "Sir, they used what appear to be ancient water naval tactics, but adapted for 3-dimensional space. Our tactical computers couldn't predict their movements because they were based on warfare principles from a completely different environment." Sung stared at the retreating human ships on his screen. "And they chose not to destroy us when they could have. Why?" Jin had no answer. 3 days later, the damaged Council fleet limped back to their home base. Sung prepared to explain his failure to the Council, knowing they would not be pleased. But more than fear of punishment, he felt something he had never experienced before: doubt. These humans were supposed to be simple primitives in metal cans. Instead, they had defeated his advanced ships using unexpected tactics. And then, most disturbing of all, they had shown mercy. As repair crews worked on his ship, Sung watched them recover a small human probe, left behind during the battle. It was actively scanning the Council technology, learning and recording everything it could. The humans hadn't just won the battle. They were already preparing for the next one. The large council chamber was filled with angry voices. Admiral Sung stood in the center, his uniform still dirty from battle. His face showed shame, but also anger. These humans fight like no civilized beings. He shouted over the noise. They used tricks and strange movements. They changed their attack patterns during the battle itself. Council leader June sat at the high table, her fingers gripping the edge so hard her knuckles turned white. Admiral Sung, am I to understand that you lost 5 of our most advanced ships to some primitives in metal boxes? Sung lowered his head slightly. They were not as primitive as we thought, leader. From the side of the room, Officer Ta stepped forward. He touched his screen, and images appeared in the air for all to see. The pictures showed human ships, but they looked different now. Parts of them shone with the same metal as Council vessels. New information, Council members, Ta said quietly. The humans have started studying our technology from the damaged ships they disabled. They are learning very quickly. Too quickly. The room went silent as everyone looked at the images. One picture showed a human ship firing a weapon that looked like a smaller version of a Council energy beam. Admiral Sung's face turned red with anger. He hit the table with his fist, making cups and screens jump. I will not accept this shame. I will lead our biggest fleet myself. We will destroy these humans before they become a real danger to us. From her seat among the lower-ranked council members, Ambassador Minna stood up. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed worry. Council leader, members, I ask you to think again, she said. We should try talking to these humans. They left a message saying they wanted peace. Silence. Council leader June shouted. Her voice echoed in the large room. Ambassador Minna, your advice has been noted and rejected. You are no longer an ambassador. Leave this chamber until we decide what to do with you. Guards moved toward Minna. She looked around the room, but no one would meet her eyes. With a small bow, she walked out. Admiral Sung, Jum continued, you will have your fleet. 20 of our best battleships. Destroy this human colony in Alpha Centauri. Make an example of them. Sung nodded, his face now showing a dark smile. It will be done, leader. 3 weeks later, Admiral Sung's massive fleet appeared near the human colony. From his command chair on the flagship, Sung looked at the small planet with its single space station. He felt confident. This time, he would win easily. Begin the attack, he ordered. His ships moved forward in perfect formation, but as they got closer, Officer Jin at the sensor station looked confused. Admiral, I'm detecting ships coming from the planet. Many ships. Sung smiled. Good. More targets. But as the human ships came into view on the screens, Sung's smile disappeared. These were not the simple vessels he had fought before. These ships had smooth, curved hulls that reflected the starlight. They moved with speed and grace. What are we seeing? Sung asked, his voice less confident now. Sir, Jin reported, the human ships appear to be using our technology. Not copies, they've combined our designs with their own ideas. As Sung watched, the human fleet spread out in another strange formation. Their ships were smaller than his but moved much faster. Fire all weapons, Sung commanded. The Council fleet released a storm of energy beams. Some hit the human ships, causing damage. But the humans didn't retreat. Sir, the damaged human ships are still fighting, Jin said in surprise. They've lost engines and have hull breaches, but they're still firing weapons. Sung couldn't believe what he was seeing. Council ships would retreat after such damage to repair and save the crew. But these human ships fought on, even when badly hurt. The battle quickly turned against the Council fleet. Human weapons, now enhanced with Council technology, cut through the larger ship's defenses. Their strange battle movements confused Sung's best tactical officers. A huge explosion rocked Sung's flagship. He grabbed his chair to stay upright as alarms sounded throughout the ship. "What was that?" he demanded. Jin looked up from his damaged control panel, his face showing fear. "3 human ships crashed into one of our battleships on purpose, sir. They destroyed themselves to take out our ship." Sung couldn't understand such tactics. No council species would sacrifice ships and crew that way. "Target their command ship," Sung ordered as his flagship shook from another hit. "Find their leader and destroy them." Jin worked his controls, scanning the human fleet. After a moment, he looked up with horror on his face. "Sir, they don't have a command ship. Each vessel is fighting independently. They coordinate without a central leader." Sung stared at him. "That's impossible. How can they have a unified strategy without central command?" "I don't know, sir, but their attacks are definitely coordinated. They're surrounding us now." The battle lasted less than 1 day. Sung watched as ship after ship in his fleet was disabled or destroyed. The humans seemed to know exactly where to hit the council vessels for maximum damage. "Sir," Jin reported as the bridge filled with smoke from damaged systems, "we've lost 14 ships. The others are too damaged to fight." Sung's hands shook with rage and fear. "Order all remaining ships to retreat. Emergency jump to council space." As the surviving council ships fled, Sung looked at his tactical display one last time. The human fleet was not chasing them. Instead, they were rescuing survivors from the destroyed council ships. "They're saving our people," Jin said in surprise. "Why would they do that after we attacked them?" Sung had no answer. He didn't understand these humans at all. They fought with savage effectiveness but showed mercy to defeated enemies. They learned and adapted at impossible speeds. Most disturbing of all, they seemed to have no fear. Council species avoided death at all costs, but humans risked everything in battle, even sacrificing themselves when needed. As his damaged flagship limped through space toward home, Sung realized with growing dread that he had not just lost a battle. He might have started a war that the Council could not win. Behind him, the humans were already studying the newly abandoned Council ships, learning even more of their advanced technology. The escalation had begun, and Sung feared where it would lead. The data archive was old and dusty. Few people came to this part of the Council building anymore. Most information was stored in the new crystal data centers. But Minna knew some secrets were kept only in these old files, locked away and forgotten. Minna had once been an important ambassador. Now she was nothing. The Council had taken away her position after she suggested talking to the humans instead of fighting them. But they had forgotten to remove all her access to information, a mistake she was using now. The room was dark, lit only by the soft blue glow of her portable screen. Minna moved between tall shelves filled with data crystals and old paper records. Her fingers traced the labels until she stopped suddenly. "This might be it," she whispered to herself. The file was sealed with an old security lock. It took Minna several minutes to bypass it with her limited clearance. Finally, the file opened, showing its label, "Death World Species. Caution." Minna's eyes widened as she read. The file contained broken records of other alien groups who had met humans long ago. The reports were incomplete, but all told the same story. The aliens had underestimated the humans and paid a terrible price. None of those civilizations existed anymore. One report stood out. It described the human home planet as a death world, a planet so dangerous that most species could not survive there. High gravity, extreme weather, dangerous animals, and poisonous plants had forced humans to become tough and adaptable just to stay alive. "So that's why they're different," Minna said, copying the files to her personal device. "They evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day." At that same moment, far from the Council homeworld, Captain Song stood on the bridge of the UES horizon. But the ship looked very different now. Its hull gleamed with the same material used in Council ships. Its weapons were a mix of human and alien technology. Song was no longer just the captain of one ship. She now led 50 vessels in the human defense fleet. After Admiral Sung's attack on the human colony, Earth had decided to take action. "All ships, this is Captain Song," she said into her communication system. "Remember our objectives. We disable, not destroy. We're here to end this conflict, not make it worse." The human fleet moved into Council space, spreading out in formations that would have made no sense to traditional military planners. Each ship captain had freedom to make decisions based on the situation, but they all worked toward the same goal. The Council worlds were not ready. They had expected the humans to hide after Admiral Sung's attack. Instead, the human fleet moved quickly through space, disabling defense stations and patrol ships with surgical precision. On the Council homeworld, emergency alarms sounded throughout the government buildings. Council leader June called an emergency meeting, her face pale with worry. "How bad is it?" she asked as officials rushed into the chamber. Officer Tai, who had been tracking the human advance, stepped forward with his data screen. The map showed human ships moving through Council space like water breaking through a dam. "Very bad, leader," Tai replied. "The humans have taken control of 17 star systems in just 9 days. Their ships are using our own technology against us, but improved in ways our engineers don't understand." Admiral Sung sat in the corner of the room, his uniform no longer crisp and clean. He had barely escaped the battle at the human colony. "How many ships have we lost?" he asked quietly. 32 destroyed, 46 disabled, Tai answered. "But the strangest part is that human rescue ships are picking up our survivors." June frowned. "Why would they save our people?" "I don't know," Tai admitted. "But it gets worse. 3 member species of our council have contacted the humans directly. They've asked for human protection and have left our alliance." The room erupted in shocked voices. Council leader June slammed her hand on the table for silence. "Which species?" she demanded. "The Lao, the One, and the Rin," Tai replied. "All from the outer systems." Sung stood up, his face red with anger. "They are traitors. They should be punished." "With what ships, Admiral?" Tai asked quietly. "Our main fleet is in ruins. Our outer defenses are falling one by one. The humans are offering peace terms to any world that surrenders without a fight." Council leader June sank back into her chair. "How is this possible? How can primitive humans defeat the greatest civilization in the galaxy in just 9 days?" Todd looked down at his screen, where he had been studying human biology and psychology. "They evolved solving problems we never faced," he explained. "Their home planet tried to kill them every day. Their brains developed differently from ours. What we see as crazy and dangerous, they see as creative and useful." In deep space, a Council defense station commander named Ba watched as 5 human ships approached. His screen showed that the ships were heavily armed, but they were not firing yet. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're receiving a message from the human fleet." Ba nodded. "Put it on screen." A human woman appeared. She wore a simple uniform and had a calm, serious face. "This is Captain Song of the Earth Defense Fleet," she said. "Your station is surrounded. We don't want to harm anyone. Power down your weapons and shields, and no one will be hurt. Resist, and we will disable your station by force." Ba looked at his officers. They were scared. Reports had spread about how quickly the humans could defeat Council forces. "What happens if we surrender?" Ba asked. "Your crew will be treated well," Song replied. "You will be taken to a safe location until this conflict ends. Your station will be controlled by human forces temporarily. When peace is established, we will discuss returning it." Ba thought for a moment. Fighting would mean certain defeat and possible death for his crew. Surrendering went against his training, but it meant survival. "We surrender," he said finally. Captain Song nodded. "A wise choice. Prepare to receive our boarding party." After the transmission ended, Ba's second officer looked at him. "Sir, why are the humans being so reasonable? Why aren't they just destroying us? We would destroy them if we could." Ba had no answer, The humans made no sense to him. They fought with incredible skill, but showed mercy at every turn. They had every reason to hate the Council after being attacked twice, yet they were offering fair terms to those who surrendered. As the human ships docked with his station, Bai wondered if perhaps the Council had made a terrible mistake in how they had judged these strange beings from a death world. In her secret archive room, Minna read the last pages of the ancient file. One line stood out to her. Species from death worlds do not think like we do. They do not see peace as the natural state. They see life as a constant fight for survival. Do not mistake their kindness for weakness. They are most dangerous when they are being nice. Minna closed the file. She had to get this information to someone who would listen. The Council had to understand what they were really facing, before it was too late. After the intense conflict, a new era began for humanity and the Council species. Admiral Sung, once a fierce enemy, found himself on Earth with Captain Song, who had defeated him in battle. The vast Pacific Ocean stretched before them, symbolizing the immense potential of their unexpected partnership. The Galactic Council, initially resistant, had finally agreed to include humans as members. Ambassador Minna had skillfully argued that the humans had shown remarkable restraint during their victory. Unlike the Council's previous conquests, humans had disabled ships with minimal loss of life and occupied worlds while preserving existing governments. In the Council chambers, heated debates had transformed into negotiations. The humans offered technological innovations and promised to respect established borders. Their reputation as survivors from a challenging planet intrigued the alien species. Every human, adapted to survive on their harsh homeworld, represented resilience and adaptability. Admiral Sung realized the fundamental difference between his species and humans. Where his people saw threats, humans saw challenges to overcome. Standing on the cliff, watching surfers ride dangerous waves for pure enjoyment, he understood their extraordinary nature. The first joint human council spacecraft, named Cooperation, prepared for its maiden voyage. Its hull displayed multiple languages, representing a new era of understanding and collaboration. This vessel symbolized hope, bridging civilizations that had once been bitter enemies. Captain Song's approach to Sung demonstrated a profound wisdom. Instead of destroying a defeated opponent, she recognized his potential value. Her strategic thinking extended beyond military tactics into diplomatic innovation. As the spacecraft launched, Sung reflected on their journey. "We should have understood humans earlier," he admitted quietly. Song simply nodded, her eyes focused on the horizon where sky met ocean, much like how their two civilizations were now meeting. The story of humans and the Council had transformed from conflict to cooperation, proving that understanding could emerge from the most unexpected circumstances. Their shared future looked promising, built on mutual respect and the recognition of each other's strengths.